carrying us, and we were carrying it. But it said, I'm going to get you this wee, whatchamacallit. And, but by the time he's 18, it's no longer those wee buggies. Now it's cars. And the father doesn't give him the wee buggy, he gives him the car. Mm. He fulfills the promise that he made, not in the terms that were back there, but greater, because the move was greater. So he says, the kid doesn't say, you told me that you were going to give me a wee buggy. You know, he didn't say that at all. He says, ooh, this is great. So when God speaks to Israel about the glory that's coming, he speaks it in terms that they speak. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't go into all of this afterlife and all the development the way the scriptures do. We've got a great message, we really do. And it's not, God didn't make humans to sit 24 hours every day if there was a day. Yeah. There's no time there. Once you move away from the physical world, time and space doesn't care. It's timeless. God isn't old. He doesn't grow old. Nobody grows old. It's always now, you know. And so, I forgot the point I was going to make. I do that all the time. But it's not. We're not being called so God can sit and then have 40 billion singing hymns to him every day and how wonderful he is. He made us to live. I've come that you might have life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life, joy, checking things out. You know, all of that, mysteries that, how does that work? Yeah. You know, meeting up with, are you Moses? Come over here. You know, cool. All of that.
You Ethel?
Ruling.
I'm looking forward to that.
Ruling the world. He says, God did not, this is Hebrews, God did not choose angels to reign in the world to come of which we speak, but humans. Mm. Jesus is God's heir, his chief heir. And we are joint heirs with him. That's all in the text, Romans chapter 8 and other texts. I'm going to be, it's not hard to believe, but I'm going to be even more glorious than I am. We have a farm, and to miss it. Those who don't want it, those who don't want him, and say to him, hang it in your ear, we want this. Oh, is that what you want? You want this world? Yep. Same old questions, yep. Same old brawls, same old cheating, same old lying, same old, what are we going to talk about today? You want that?
Have at
You're
it.
Insisting on having that?
Yep. Have at it.
Yep. You get it.
Yep.
You get it. But you're mortal. You don't want immortality. You don't want all of that. If you don't want life, you die. And so when those who make themselves a rejecter and enemy of God, when they die forever. There's none of this burning him in fire and all that kind of stuff. That's another discussion for another time, but that's all baloney, how the scriptures are used to say that Jesus says, I love you. I love you more than you know. But if you don't love me back, I'm going to torture you for eternity and burn you up because you wouldn't love me back. That is absolute garbage. That's not it. But you die. And you miss, you go to the judgment and you find out what you're missing, what you will miss as soon as you die. That's what happens to those who refuse immortal life and the glory of it. They just die and they exist no longer. as they did not exist before they were born. Now it's all gone. Well, they don't hurt. Well, they don't hurt. That's true. But they saw what they were going to miss. They met up with in the judgment. This I turned down to go to some club, some drinking club or some beating club or some, running around or whatever. This, like the wee animal that was left behind when its parents left him behind in the land. What's that called? And the wee creature, home.
E.T.
TC.
E.T. E.T.
E.T. And the kids, man, you remember, you've seen the movie.
No.
Oh, you must watch it. He's left behind by his mother. Off they go. And 4 kids meet up with him. And one of them in particular is very close to him and lays down his life, puts his life at stake for the E.T. And they ask him, where are you from? And he starts spinning a wee balls and he points the shape there, But they love him and he really likes them. And they do everything for him and they protect him from anybody who wants to, all of that stuff. They protect him and all of that. But every now and again, he walks over to the window, hobbles over, looks out the window, and he says, home. This world here, it's lovely. Much of it is lovely. But it's not my home. So great music, great movies, great literature, great books, novels and all of that. And I think all of that should be watched and read. I would have young Christian students do that every month and have teachers to teach, use movies, the kind of movies that you have seen this is a great movie. Yeah, but watching a great movie is reading a great book. And the guys, the screenwriters and people who author the stuff, they've seen life. All of those great movies are not just fiction. They rise out of life and it's seen. Bless me. And all of that's good, but God says, believe me. That's George's
That's my
big word.
Believe.
What is it God says? Whatever happens, whatever is going on, believe me. And that's what, you remember Abraham? The name Abraham, familiar to you? Abraham, God goes down to Ur, where he was living. God goes down to Ur, knocks on the door opens, and out comes Abraham. And God says, are you Abraham? Are you Abram? And Abram says, yes, sir. Who are you? And God said, well, just for now, you can call me El Shaddai. I've got all kinds of names, but just start with El Shaddai. And he says to him, well, what is it you want, sir? And he says, well, I've got a task I've started. I want to save a whole world. And I want you. That's your wife in there, isn't it? Yeah, that's her, Sarah. I want you to come and help me do the job. I will. This is all in the text. I'm just telling it in a story fashion and adding my own
Twist.
words to it. Yeah. So he says, I'll make of you a great nation. Oh, and he said, sir, sir, my body, I'm not very old, but my body is shot through. And my wee wife, she can't have children. And God said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of that. come with me. So they do. And now he's nearly 100 and she's up around that direction. And she says to him one day, where's all the property? You know, where's the kid and all the big family and all of that? She said, I think you need to go and talk to God about it. And he said, okay, so I will. So he went to God and he said, Lord, we've been walking around here for now about 80 years. I'm nearly 100 and there's no property. The only property we got was the piece we bought, and that was a funeral home. Yeah, he said, that's all. And no kid, and there's a guy in our home who will inherit everything we've got if there's anything. And God said, don't worry about it.
Believe me.
Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix it all. And Abraham walks off with gets back to the wife, and the wife says, well, did you see him? And he says, oh yeah. Did you tell him? And he said, oh yeah. And what did he say? He said, everything's going to be all right. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, and what was your response? He said, I believed him. And then Michael the archangel comes to God and says to God, see that old man was chatting with you yesterday? Seemed to be a bit troubled. What was the problem there? And God says to him, well, he was a bit worried that what I'd promised him wasn't gonna, but I told him, it'll happen. It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what else did you tell him? He said, nothing. I told him, it'll happen. And off he went. And he said, and what was his response? He said, Michael, that old man believed me. Yeah, that old man believed me. And because he believed, not believed in, not in that text, other text, believed in. Here, God said the word and he just believed him. Mm-hmm. And off he went. He said, I see him go around with the gods all over the place, the old gods and that. Mm-hmm. And when they ask him, is your God Shema or, oh no, Yahweh's our God. He said, every time I hear him saying that, it gives me a thrill. God said, makes me proud. Mm-hmm. That's in the text. Makes me proud to be his God. Watch him. That old guy, he blunders here and there, but he believes me. And it's faith that overcomes the world. We sing a hymn like that, don't we? Faith is the victory. But that's exactly the truth of the matter. That's the fundamental truth of the matter. God says,
believe me.
Believe me. And when we do it, he works in us. That faith was given unto us. The word given is a compound verb. It has the word charis in the middle of it. Grace and all of that. This is given to you as a gift, an act of grace. That's how our
Isn't that awesome though? Isn't that awesome? We don't think that way. Nowadays we don't think that. That's brilliant. It's wow.
What a gift.
Yeah.
And so it's given as a gift. That's how we've come to believe. And he says he goes on to say, this is First Peter, going on to say, God saves us. His power guards and saves us by faith. That's how he saves us, by faith. Do you know that you believe in God?
Mm-hmm.
You, yeah. And so do they, and so do I. The very fact that we believe, and we know we believe, that's how he saves us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the proof that he's looking after us and he's got our back.
Mm-hmm.
And in First Peter, he says, when people ask you when you're going through a really hard time for a long time, how can you continue to believe in him? How can you do that? And Peter says, have an answer ready.
Yep.
And we turn that into Christian apologetics about arguments and all of that. That's not what he's talking about at all. He gives him the answer as he opens the book. You're supposed to say to them, he doesn't use this word in the text, but he says, when they say that to you, say this to them. Do you know who you're talking to? We, the Church of God, the people of God, we have been chosen by God before the world. This is in Philippians 1 and following. We have been chosen as a new nation from before the world was built. He had us in mind forever. And we have been covered with the blood, the covenant blood of Jesus Christ, who is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And the Spirit of God who helps us and lives within us. And why does he do all of that? He delivers us and takes care of us unto an inheritance. An inheritance. An inheritance. I forgot how the next phrase goes. He has kept us again unto an inheritance incorruptible, undefiled, fades not away, reserved for us in heaven. And you're asking us,
Yep.
what? You don't know who you're talking to. Well, you go through a lot of trouble. So did Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
He came into the world and he knew what he was coming into. And one day he died, one Friday, they killed him. Ooh. Early Sunday morning he was back up, and he hadn't been dead since. This is who we are. We're his people. And you think, oh, poor people. Nothing poor about us. Okay, so we take a beating, but everybody takes beatings. Everybody takes beatings. But the beatings aren't the end of the story any more than the cross was the end of the story. And Jesus said, if what I'm telling you was not true, I wouldn't be telling it to you.
Yeah.
He said, my Father can't lie. I can't lie either. I can't get a liar. Can't get a lie out of me. I'm telling you the truth. This is our message, and this is what should be preached, and the manner in which it should be preached. We don't have to do all the psychology and all of the, the speaking of the big hitters and all the rest of it. The big hitters don't know as much as they know. Jesus says to his Father one day, it's tricky, He said, but thank you for giving knowledge and wisdom to the babes rather than to the big hitters. He said, I'm happy about that. For so it pleased you and looked good in your sight to do it that way. And None of us are the big hitters or anything. And so Jesus then, after he spoke to his Father, comes down to his wee crew and his wee band of fighters, and he said, angels, principalities, powers, conquerors, kings have all sought for the knowledge that you have been given, and they haven't found it. You know who you are? You're the envy of the world, for you know things that the world doesn't know, and the world can't know because they keep farther rejecting. And, I want this, I want that. The kid who went with his mother, I'm nearly done. I have to be stopped. I go on and on. But the kid went with his mother to the big shop. She's going, I'm going to buy you something, lovely. So he comes and he sees this toy, and he said, no, Pat, not that, no. Then takes him further, and then another one, no, son, no, he's, he's really, I thought you were going, he said, no. And then she walks him for another 10 minutes, and then she gets this beautiful, big, marvelous thing. And she says, that is for you. And he's absolutely wild. And now he's glad that he didn't get all the other, and glad that she wouldn't let him settle for all the little nice prissy things. But now she's getting them this. And God won't let us settle for a lot of nice things in this life. But we live in a world, it's evil, and it's always brawling against us. He's mad at the evil powers, never at humans. I do not war against humans, but against the principalities and the powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world in heavenly places. I don't war against humans. We've never met any human that God wasn't his father and creator. God created him. Never met a woman that God did not create in procreation now rather than the way he did it in the beginning. They're all God's children. Paul says this. One of your own prophets even said, we are all the children of God. Since we are all of God's children, get this, he's never far from us. This is all in the book of Romans. Yeah,